XCode is quite a daunting program to use for your first time. This tutorial is going to ease you into its layout and features and get you coding your first app in 5 minutes. So let's get into it. So if you haven't already, you need to install XCode, and to do that, you need to go to the App Store on your Mac, search for XCode. You'll find one of the results will be XCode, which is here. And instead of having this open button, if you haven't installed it, that will be download or install. You just need to click on that to install Xcode. Now that might take some time as it's 4.5 gigs. So let that run through and install Xcode. Okay, so once you install Xcode, you want to open it from your Launchpad, and you can just search for Xcode. Now, once you start it up here, you're going to get this main menu, which might be a bit daunting at first. So yours will look slightly different because at the right side, it has a history of files you've opened. So if you haven't used it before, you won't see anything in there. And then you'll see your three main options here, just in the bottom in the middle. So the one you want to select to make iPhone and iPad apps is create a new Xcode project. We don't need to worry about the other ones at this stage. So select that. And that will come up with this new window here with a number of options as well. And the one you'll be selecting 99% of the time is a single view application. So that will be selected by default. So just go next. Now here you'll be presented with the options for your app. So the product name is your app name. So the product name is your app name. We are going to name our app My Cool App. The theme, you will only have none. So just leave that as none by default. The organization name is the name of the company, the business, or even yourself that this app is flying under. So in my case, it's named Seemu. You can put whatever you want here. And the organization identifier is pretty much the same as the organization name most of the time, except it can have no spaces in it. The bundle identifier you can't change is built from the organization identifier followed by a dot, then your product name. That's a unique reference to your app, this bundle identifier. Think of it as like a street address. The language we want to select is Swift. Devices universal, so it can run on both an iPhone and iPad. If you had an app that you're only making for an iPhone or iPad, this is where you would set the option. So we'll leave it at universal. We'll leave use core data unticked. That's like a database system for iOS. You don't need to worry about that now. Include unit tests, you don't really need to worry about, but it's probably best to leave it checked by default, along with include UI tests. Once you've done that, simply go next. And then pick on your computer where you want to create your app. We're just going to create it on the desktop. Now you'll be taken to this landing screen when you create your first app. So there's quite a lot going on. So let's go through section by section to find out what each area does. First of all, on the left pane, as highlighted, is where you choose the files to edit in your app. It's kind of like Finder or Windows Explorer, except within Xcode itself. So it's got all the files you use for your project. So this includes code, user interface design, images, any sound and video you might add, settings for your app, and etc. It's got it all here. The second area displays what file is currently selected on the left pane. It can be anything from the settings to the code to the user interface design. So this is the current file you're editing. The third pane on the right shows settings and information for objects or code in the middle pane that can be edited and changed. So if we had a text box in our app that accepted text input, if you selected on that, in this pane you can change the settings such as the color of the text box, the font size, if it accepts text only, numbers only, etc. The next pane down the bottom right is used mostly to add objects such as buttons and text fields to your app, and it can also be used to add code snippets from templates and the like. The fifth and final area is the top row. It allows you to run the app on the left hand side. You can either select an iPhone simulator or an actual device to run your app on. In the middle here, it displays any current tasks that are being run. So if you decide to run your app, it will show the progress until your app's ready on the simulator or your iPhone. In the right hand side, this displays some options for editing this whole interface. So you can show and hide panes like this, and so on. So now we've got a grip on the basic layout. Let's create a very simple app so you can kind of get the hang of it. The best way to get used to it is actually using it, and you'll slowly get familiar with the interface. So what we want to do, on the left hand side, we want to select our main.storyboard. Now once you select that, you'll be taken to this screen here, which is basically the interface for your app. This is where you can draw buttons, text fields, tables, and so on to the app for the user to use. So what we want to do, in the bottom right, make sure the cog is selected, which will show the object library. We want to search for a button in the filter. Once you find the button, simply drag that on and drop it, and now we have a button in our app. Now by default, the app's going to load up this screen at the start, so you don't need to worry about setting the screen or anything like that. With the button, if we double click on it, we can change the text. We'll name it Say Hi. And you'll notice, as I mentioned earlier, in the right hand side here, you can change the text color, the font size, the shadow, and so on of this button. So now we've got our button on the app, we need to connect it up to code. And to do that, we need to select the button, and in the top right, you'll see these two rings, which is called the Assistant Editor. We click on that. That's going to split up our view in the middle into two separate panes. So you can have two files open up at once. The left-hand side will show what you've selected on the far left-hand side, and the right-hand side will show what you've got selected in the top here, which is our view controller. So this view controller contains all the code for this screen here. So to connect this button up, we simply hold down the control key, start dragging, and you'll see a line come out of the Say Hi. To connect it up, we're just going to simply drop this anywhere within the class view controller, and that will give us some options here. We want to change that connection to an action. What an action does, it responds to user input. So for a button, when we tap the button, it's going to run this code here. So we're going to name the code Say Hi and go connect. And then you'll see this IB action function Say Hi created here. So what that means is when we tap on the Say Hi button, whatever code we've got in here will be run. So let's start coding that now. So what we want to do, we want to close down a few screens to give us some more real estate for our coding. So in the top right here, you'll want to click on the Remove Assistant Editor button. That will close down the split view and go back to our storyboard. And then in the left hand side, we want to go to the view controller in our project navigator. And then you'll see this action we created just now called say hi. So let's start coding it. Just while we're coding it, you'll notice that my editor, the background color is black and it's got different colors. By default, it's got a white background in different colors, so you can change that in the settings for Xcode. I prefer black. It really depends what you prefer when you're coding. So what we're going to code for this say hi function is a pop-up that's going to say hello and your name. Okay, so let's get to coding our function now. And what we're going to do, we are going to code it so it displays a pop-up message saying hello to your name. So first we'll do let name equals Andrew. You can put your name in here in quotation marks. Finally, we'll do let hello message equals quotation marks hello slash brackets name and brackets and quotation marks. Then we'll do let alert controller equals UI alert controller. Then we'll do brackets and you'll see it try to autocomplete. And the option we want to select is the one with title, message and preferred style. The title will do my app in quotation marks. Message, just do hello message. And preferred style, will do .alert. Finally, we'll do alert controller .add action. And the action will do UI alert action brackets. And there's only one option here, so the title is going to be dismiss. The style is going to be .default and the handler is going to be nil. And finally, we need to do self.present. Then in brackets, we're going to do alert controller, then comma animated colon as true and completion as nil. So this code here will be run when we click on that say hi button, which is in our main.storyboard. So let's run the app now and see what our code actually does on an actual iPhone. Alright, so our app is running now. So if we tap on that say hi button, you can see here, comes up with a pop-up message, my app, hello Andrew. And if we tap on the dismiss button, it will get rid of that pop-up. So what's happening there with the code? We set the name variable to Andrew, the hello message to hello, then it joins the name variable we created with Andrew, so that creates hello Andrew. Then this line here, let alert controller equals, will create a new UI alert controller, which is this pop-up here in our app. The title is my app. The message grabs the hello Andrew from the hello message variable. Then we add an action to the alert controller, which adds this dismiss button so we can close it. And then finally, the self.present will actually show this alert to the user in the app. So present the alert to them. So that's how you use Xcode. It's a quick overview of how to use it and creating your first app. So stay tuned for more tutorials in how to use Xcode. Hopefully that clears it up a bit for you, as it's a lot to take in when you're first using. So you can download the source code for this app below, and remember to subscribe for future tutorials.